You know, when I first watched this anime, I wasn't really expecting much, but this surprised the hell out of me, and even got me into more magical girl animes. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get the review started. Hey pups! RP here, and welcome back to another Pup Reviews, the series where I review anything and everything from anime, cartoons, video games, books, mangas, movies, and many more. You know, I love magical girl animes. They've more or less been around since the creation of anime and manga. If you have no idea what a magical girl is, it's basically a girl with superpowers, with a combo of superhero superpowers and witch powers. And the most popular of them all is Sailor Moon. I didn't really get into it until much later on in my life, but it's awesome. But before we review the anime itself, let's start all the way back to its humble beginnings. Also, fair warning, I got most of the info for my research in the fandom wiki page and in Wikipedia itself, and I know neither site is a great source of information and can't be trusted, but if I do get something incorrect, please correct me in the comments. And I apologize in advance if I butcher or mispronounce any names of any of the cities or people in this video. I am American garbage and have trouble pronouncing certain types of words and names. I apologize. That being said, let's do this. Oh, also, spoilers ahead for anyone who hasn't watched the anime or read the manga. Strongly suggest that you read and watch the anime and manga before watching this video. Don't worry, I'll also be here when you get back. Before we talk about Sailor Moon, we need to take a look at the creator of Sailor Moon, Naoko Takeuchi. Born on March 15th, 1967, in Kofu, Yamanashi, Japan, to her parents, Kenji and Nakoko, and grew up with her older brother, Shinju. And this is kind of where she got some names for some of her Sailor Moon characters, via her relatives. During her younger years, in both junior and high school, she joined the astrology and manga clubs. This is where she got the inspiration to become a manga artist one day, though her father, while supportive of her manga dream, also encouraged her to pursue other career paths in case the manga dream was crushed, which is when she attended a university known as Kyoritsu University of Pharmacy and studied chemistry and graduated, earning her degree in the study with her senior thesis, Heightened Effects of Thrombolic Actions Due to Ultrasound, and became a pharmacist later on. But before she got started as a manga artist, she used to work as a meiku for the Shiba Daidenju Shrine near her university, which is where the inspiration for Sailor Mars came from. Around the early 90s was when Takeuchi started writing mangas, such as The Cherry Project, Love Call, her first manga she made after graduating at the age of 19, and the one that started it all, codenamed Sailor V. This caught the eye of Taiyo Animations, who were also responsible for producing other popular anime and manga series such as Dragon Ball and One Piece. They were impressed by the comic and encouraged her to produce more. And that's pretty much where Sailor Moon got its start, from a simple one-shot manga to a full-blown manga series turned anime, which is basically a pattern if you couldn't tell with mangas turning into animes. Unlike the Pokemon franchise, who had the anime first and later became a manga series. But I'm getting off topic here. First manga was released in December of 1991, and will continue on until maybe around 1997 to the early 2000s? Don't quote me on that. She later owned her own studio called Princess Naiko Planning, or PMP for short, and will go on to date and marry Yashihiro Togashi, creator of another popular manga series turned anime, Hunter x Hunter. She even won several awards, like the Ganashi Manga Award in 1993, though the anime wouldn't air until about a year later, on March 7th, 1992, and would continue to air and produce episodes in Japan until February 8th, 1997. But during the mid-90s, 1995 to be exact, to the early 2000s, DIC would redub the anime, cutting out some of the episodes, which were actually understandable. Pokemon 4 Kids did the same thing, but redubs of all episodes would later be released on DVD sets, and some of the scenes were even cut out for the episodes entirely. This was mostly because companies like DIC and 4Kids thought some of the episodes were a little inappropriate for their target demographic, which at the time were children. Though, I'll keep the original names of the characters in this review's sake, and for the sake of the OG fans, Moon Prism Power Makeup! Alright, let's continue. Let's start off with the characters. Usagi Tsukino, aka Sailor Moon, is a trouble-prone schoolgirl by day, but when trouble does rear its ugly head, she becomes the Sailor Scout Sailor Moon. While Usagi is a clumsy crybaby as she describes it, she's also the heroic pretty guardian, Sailor Moon, and, well, I'll let the song explain it. Fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight, never running from a real fight. She is the one named Sailor Moon. Yep, that's pretty much it. And even though she's a hero, she isn't exactly perfect. But honestly, who is? She does do her best to be brave and heroic though. And just a heads up, I'll only be focusing on the English dub actors from the DVD Viz redubs, rather than the Japanese dub actors for this one. If you want to know who the Japanese dubbers are, a link to Behind the Voice Actors Sailor Moon page will be linked below, if you want to check it out. Sailor Moon is voiced by Stefani Shi, who shared a lot of roles in anime and video games. The more famous ones she's known for are as follows: Akari Kojami from Lucky Star, Neo Harami from Kill la Kill, Milken Sumik from Danganronpa, the great-grandmother from Mirai, Mijumi and Yaya Panda from Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, Olive from High Guardian Spice, and a crap ton of roles in the Bleach, Naruto, and WarioWare franchises. Usagi's kind of like the Bubbles of the Sailor Scouts, in a way. Her powers mostly involve moonlight, love, healing, and purification, as a reflection to her being a pacifist. The second Sailor Scout we have is Amai Mizuno, aka Sailor Mercury. Someone smart, shy, gentle, loyal, and very kind-hearted. Kind of like a combo of Twilight Sparkle and Fluttershy from My Little Pony. Flutter Sparkle? Okay, that's a pretty cute name. Put that aside, she's voiced by Kate Higgins, more well known for her roles as Nanako and Haikojo from Lucky Star, Tails and Wave from the Sonic games, Frankie Stein from Monster High, Kate, Stinky, and Lily from the Alpha and Omega sequels, Cure Beauty, or Glitter Breeze from Smile Pretty Cure or Glitter Force, and a butt ton of roles in Naruto, Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., and Bleach. Sailor Mercury's powers are mostly water-based, involving, obviously, water, ice, snow, mist, and sleet. Kind of like Cure Beauty from Smile Pretty Cure, with her powers being water and ice based. Up next, we have Rei Hano, aka Sailor Mars, who is voiced by Christina Valenzuela. I am so sorry for mispronouncing that last name. It is very hard to pronounce. Forgive me. More well known for her roles as Sheila in Beastars, 5-Volt from WarioWare, Get It Together, and Green for the Pokemon Evolution shorts. Mars is basically the buttercup of the group. Badass, hot-headed, and quick-tempered, a fiery spirit, but also a bit boy crazy. She also has ambitions to become a voice actor, singer, songwriter, and a model, and wants to eventually get married one day. Though she remains loyal to Sailor Moon and her fellow Sailor Scouts, even though she thinks Usagi isn't fit to be the leader, she still views her as a good friend, and values her as such. Her powers are more fire-based, reflecting her fiery personality. Next we have Matoko Kino, aka Sailor Jupiter, voiced by Amanda Sillin Miller, whom you may recognize as Junko and Toko from the Danganronpa franchise. Sailor Jupiter didn't come from a happy beginning though. Her parents passed away in an airplane crash, and is a bit insecure about how tall she is compared to the other girls. She's 5'6", and she's a very tomboyish character, mostly skilled in martial arts like karate. Her dream is to own a flower and cake shop, superhuman strength combined with electrokinesis plant manipulation. And finally, we have Manako Aino, aka Sailor Venus, voiced by Shiram Leah, who's more well known for her roles as Patty from Soul Eater, Mizuki from Beastars, Elizabeth from Black Butler, Maikoto from Persona 5, Sabaki from Miss Kobayoshi's Dragon Maid, Kirimi Nekozawa from Ouran High School Host Club, and various roles in Fire Emblem, Fairy Tail, and One Piece. Sailor Venus was already famous before she was the Sailor Scout, known as Sailor V. She's kind of like Usagi, but a bit more athletic, and her powers are more based on love, beauty, light, and gold, minus the purification Sailor Moon has. Her reflect is more on beauty. And for those asking if I'm going to add in Sailor's Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, sadly, that'd be too much for me to do for this review, and I'm only reviewing the first season of the anime. So I don't think Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, or even Chibi Moon and Diana appear until the second seasons and onward. So sorry to those who are expecting those characters to show up in this review. Nothing against them at all, but it'd be too much on my person. But I will add in the main allies of the show. Starting off with the handsomest man of all, it was rumored to be the original Sailor Earth, Mamoru Chiba, aka Tuxedo Mask, voiced by Robbie Daymond, who you may recognize as Hunter from the Spiral Reignited trilogy, Shayo Ishihara from Silent Voice, Goro from Persona 5, and various other roles from Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fueled, and the WarioWare franchise. Mamoru had a pretty normal life until his parents died in a car crash at the age of 6, where he first met Usagi when they were younger, though he's seen teasing Usagi, calling her Bunhead, but is very protective of her and has a good nature. His powers are as follows: mediumship, prophetic dreaming, expert martial arts, master acrobat, reassurance, and attractive energy. Plus, the Tuxedo Mask Sailor Moon ship is adorable. And we can't forget about the kitties, Luna and Artemis. We'll start off with Luna, voiced by Michelle Ruff, who you may recognize as Yukari from Persona 3, Cream from various Sonic games, Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball Super, and like many others on the list, had various roles in Bleach and Lucky Star. Luna is kind of like Usagi's mentor, giving her and the other scouts items like brooches, for example. And if the crescent moon on her forehead is covered up, she isn't able to talk. She does have the ability to talk. And like a lot of cats, she's agile and can use her claws to scratch and cause damage to any enemies the scouts face. She's also very motherly, and with a mother figure for the scouts, there comes a father figure. Another cat that's kind of a mentor and protector of Sailor Venus is Artemis, voiced by the amazingly awesome Johnny Young Bosch. More well known for being the Red Ranger in Power Rangers, and voicing Yu and Adachi from Persona 4, Emil from Tales of Symphonia, Hajime from Danganronpa, and a butt ton of roles from Yokai Watch. Methinks we found a new man of 1,000 voices. Though Artemis is more of a lazy and lovesick father to Sailor Venus, and he often gets into trouble with Luna. A lot. Still, he does his best to help her out, whenever and wherever he can. And we can't forget the villains of the anime either. Jadeite, voiced by Todd Haberkorn, whom you may recognize as Death the Kid from Soul Eater, Jaco from Dragon Ball Super, Kayoma from Agretsuko, and Pop from Smile Pretty Cure. Nephrite, voiced by Liam O'Brien, more well known for his roles as Infinite from Sonic Forces and Doctor Strange from the animated series in the Marvel Universe, such as DC Superhero Girls, for example. Zoocyte, voiced by Lucen Dodge, who also voiced Okami from Agretsuko and Felix from the Fire Emblem franchise. Kazunite, voiced by Patrick Seitz, who had roles as Jiren from Dragon Ball Super and Riz from Beastars. And finally, Queen Beryl, voiced by Cindy Robinson, whom shared her roles as Amy Rose in various Sonic games, Kim from Persona 3, and various other roles from High Guardian Spice and Monster High. These guys live to destroy the home of Princess Serena, aka Sailor Moon, aka Usagi, and the Earth, and rule over the cosmos for their overlord of darkness. Whew! That was a lot to go through for these characters. Now, onto the storyline of Sailor Moon. Basically, the whole plot of Sailor Moon is simply this. The airheaded crybaby Usagi and her friends Ame, Ri, Mayako, and Minako must band together as Sailor Moon and the Sailor Scouts to defend the Earth and galaxy from evil. They fight for justice against the Dark Kingdom and their evil minions. Together, they're allied by two cats, Luna and Artemis, and the mysterious Tuxedo Mask. Each episode shows the girls living their day-to-day lives, and by day, they live as normal schoolgirls who live life normally. But when evil rears its ugly head, they become Sailor Moon and the Sailor Scouts. Each new Dark Kingdom monster is a lot more different and interesting than the last. Plus, some of the episodes do give off some life lessons, such as health and fitness. It's good and healthy to exercise and eat healthier foods, but exercising excessively and undereating is extremely unhealthy. An episode that was very much needed, especially during the 90s, and now, when girls had an unhealthy obsession to achieve an unrealistic body type and figure. Again, exercise and healthy dieting is important, but there's gotta be a limit. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about the plot of the anime. pretty much your typical magical girl story, but overall a classic nonetheless. Speaking of which, given this was the early 90s, and hand-drawn animation in anime wasn't something to brag about, but it's still amazing regardless. I mean, take a look at the Sailor Moon and the classic Pokemon anime. Sure, their animations were old looking, and not really Disney level of animation or Ghibli level either, but the overall art, designs, and animation of the characters, backgrounds, and the entire anime as a whole gives it a very aesthetic look and classic anime feel from older anime. And there's a bit of improvement from said older anime to anime from the 90s all the way to the early 2000s. And that's pretty much all I've got to say for the art and animation portion for this video. Anything else would more likely be very minor nitpicks. Overall, Sailor Moon is a classic magical girl anime for any and all otaku fans. Whether or not you're a fan of classic anime, magical girls, or just want to relive their childhood with either the Deke dub of the animation, or see what the Viz dub is like if you grew up with the anime. And let me just say that I love Sailor Moon, and this is one of my favorite magical girl anime manga series that I always recommend to any and all otakus of the world, especially ones who are starting out with certain types of anime and manga. So, as you would expect, I give this anime 5 gold stars. Woo! That was a lot to go through for this video. If you're a Sailor Moon fan, comment your favorite character or episode of the comics below, and comment on which dub you prefer, the Deke or Viz dubs, or if you have a different magical girl anime you like, comment that in the comments too, if you feel like it, that is. And if you have an anime you want to see me review in the future, or something like a cartoon, movie, book, manga, whatever you have in mind, be sure to let me know in the comments too. That being said, I'll see you in the next one, pups. Cue the outro, RP is out, Moon Prism Power, fellow Sailor Scouts.